Hi everyone, afternoon. Just waiting for the computer to start a bit and then I'll get going. We'll start getting people in. I should see your comments coming up. So hello everyone. Hello Mr. Ghosty Peter. How are you? So I don't know if it's all okay. If there's a problem with the picture, just let me know. I'll see if there's anything I can do.
No, it's probably just because it's expanded.
Right. Okie doke.
That's fine.
Right. Gavin have said the picture's fine. He was a ghost. Ooh. So I don't know if we'll have anybody else joining us. There's two on at the moment. So we've actually got a nice card. And you can see all the little sparkles on it. Alright. So that's the way I'll turn it for sparkles. So this is the main card that I'm going to show you how to do. But out of the second pull off of this background, I've actually made the smaller card. So you can see that the same background's just that's white and that's colour. Okay, and this is all done on the media plate, which is the John Next Door Crafts 2 media plate. Okay, and I'm actually going to be showing how to use this with some embossing powders and stuff. So first thing we're going to do is get a go in. So if you're on, please type in hello so I know that you're actually watching. And if you ask any questions through typing your sort of question, then what we'll do, Gavin will actually answer that in response with a typed message back to you on your comment. Okay, and then I can just keep on with everything and just say hello to everybody that's coming on. So this is a pretty big card, and I am adjusting the sizes just a little bit, so if anybody's only got an A3 card, they'll be able to use that today. Okay, right, so let's continue on. Hi Sylvia. So that is the card I'm actually doing today, and it's using the jelly, the media plate. So let's get on with it then. Let's do this. So I'm going to take the media plate off there, just so that it's nice and clean for my first bits. And let's get going. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my scoreboard and a piece of A3 card. Okay, so this is SRA3, but if it's A3 it'll be fine as long as it's 42 centimeters. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to score that at 21 centimeters. And I'm just going to flick it over I'm going to score a 21. I'm just going to fold that. So that's my scoring done. And then with the guillotine or trimmer or whatever you're going to use, I'm going to cut this base card, and then I'm going to start doing some printing then. So I will try and get it to go. I've got my guillotine, so now I'm going to cut that to 23.5 centimeters. So I'm cutting through double layers of that, and then I'm turning it. I'm just going to cut off this little bit here to 21. And then those little bits can come in handy for later. And you can see then that compared to the old card, it is just a little bit smaller. Okay. We can put that to the side. So that's a little bit smaller, but on the main card, I've actually rounded the corners. Hi Sarah, hiya Deborah. Everything seems to have popped up now, so I can actually say hi to everybody's come on. Hi Deborah, hi Sarah. There we go. So on the main card, I've actually got corners that are rounded. So I've actually got an old Woodway corner rounder that I have here, and I'm just popping it in. You don't have to, it just goes nice and well. So I'm opening my card up and doing that. Just going to do all 4 corners there, on the back piece and the front piece, and then it will go through the double thickness of this card as well. So sorry about the bangs. And then all the little bits that come out of that. So there's now my rounded little corners. Okay, so that's the base card, and now I'm going to continue on with the next one. So like I said, that's my base card. So it's a little bit smaller, but I know I can make an envelope for that out of an A3 card. So the next bit I want to do is to take the jelly plate or media plate, whichever you have. You've got the, I'm just going to lift it and just roll that down to stop any air bubbles in the middle. Okay, and I've got some card. So the card I'm using is you can use 250 gram. I'm using Super Smooth today because I'm actually using my water reactive dye inks. So I'm using them. So I'm actually using Super Smooth. If I was using acrylic paints or anything else, I would actually use more of a watercolor card or something that can take water, but the Super Smooth we do doesn't actually take any water, as you would have seen from the last one that Gavin, the last live Gavin did, where we had a little mistake. And I'm just going to show you what I'm using today as well for this card. It's from the Crafters Inspiration issue 27. So it's magazine, there's online downloads of all things, and we've got them in the shop. And what comes with it is a set of stamps. Well, a set of stamp. It is a stamp. It's one big stamp, but you can actually cut up all the letters if you wanted to, or leave it as a background. I'm just leaving it as a background for today's. Okay, so that's that. You also get a stencil, which is all dotties. And then also there's a die that comes with it that actually cuts out a cone. It cuts into the paper, it doesn't cut out. So there's a different sort of look to it. I'll just get a black bit of card to show you what it does. So the die doesn't actually cut any of the outer shape. It just cuts all the little bits to form the flowers and everything inside there. So that's quite nice as well. So that's what comes in the magazine. Okay. So I've shown you that. And now I want to get on to the jelly plate. Or the... Do you have them in stock? Yeah, the stencil is lovely. I've got to be honest. And when you see it in the back of the card there, the stencil is lovely, and then the stamp is absolutely amazing on the inside as well. So I'm going to show you how to use those. So we've got our media plate. Jelly plates work the same, and the media plate's a bit thinner cheaper to buy. I'll take my brayer. This is a soft brayer, but you can use the hard brayers. And I know we've got the 4-inch and the 6-inch, I think, in the shop of the hard ones, and you can use them as well. Okay, and what I'm now going to do is I'm going to take some of my inks. So this one is called Sandstone. I'm actually going to just rub the ink on the top, and you won't see much of that because it is quite a pale ink. Then I'm going to take the medium colour, which is Friar Brown. And you should be able to see that going on now. And then I'm going to take the darker one, which is Seal Brown. I'm just going to coat the bottom half of that. And I didn't have to put too much ink on there. I just tapped it on nicely. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my brayer, and I'm going to start at the top. I'm just going back and forth. As you can see, my brayer is getting inks up there, and it's smoothing out the ink on the jelly plate. And then as I come down a little bit, if I want to bring that medium colour up, I just move it up a little bit, just to bring a little bit of the medium up a bit further. And I'm just going to keep going down until they start joining. You can see now that it's all blending in nicely. Just come up a little bit with a dark one. And that's all I'm going to do with that. Is on the back of one of my A5 pieces, I'm actually going to just brayer off some of that ink, because I want to go back up to the top bit and go just all the way down like that, and then I'll remove that on there. Okay, so then what I need to do, I'm going to take the opposite side of this piece, I'm going to place it down onto there. Doesn't matter about the back bit because I won't be using this bit and you won't see that, but I'm actually going to pop that A5 piece down, which just shows you that the plate is actually A5. I'm just rubbing my hands over, and I can even take my brayer and run across the back as well, just to make sure it's coated well. And then when I lift up, I'm going to get a nice background that's a little bit mottled, which is what I want. Okay, so you can see that's lovely. So that's a nice little pull. Okay. So that is that bit. And then the next bit I need to do is I want to pick up my media plate, and I just want to put that to the side a minute. Don't want to clean it because I'm going to be putting the same inks back on in a minute. And then I'm going to take wipe that ink off there. I'm going to take another A5 piece of card, and I'm now going to use my stamp. Okay, and with the stamp I'm just going to take a big enough acrylic block, and I'm going to take my Versamark or Watermark ink, and I'm also going to use a clear embossing powder. And in true form, I forgot to get my clear ink embossing powder out. So, sorry about that. And Gavin's ancient bit of paper that he uses. Hi, Lee. So that's that. So then I'm going to take my Watermark Versamark, and I'm going to stamp. Going to tap the ink all over this word in stamp, which says, all my love, colour feeling, colour your world, you inspire me, live your dream, do what you love, send in some love, be happy, best friends, follow your bliss, go for it, best friends, laughter is the best medicine, you can do it. So I've just inked up that with the Versamark. I'm going for sort of central of that piece. I'm just going to push it down, just putting pressure all over the actual stamp, and then take my ancient bit of paper and coat that onto there, and that's all my powders on there. Put the powder back into its pot, and that collapsing was all my cards because the window's open and it was a bit breezy. So now the powder is on there, I can then take my heat gun and just going to make sure the heat gun is hot enough, either to go on my wrist or on my neck now. And I'm just going to heat it until the powder melts. And it just goes all nice and shiny when it's all melted. And I'm not worried about it being perfect. This is more a sort of a rough background anyway that we're forming. Because my heat gun is nice and hot now, so I'm just going up and down slowly. And it's melting nicely. Done all the bottom bit and then so you can actually see all the words on there. That's lovely. So I'm going to leave that to cool a little bit, but while it's cooling, I'm actually going to take another stamp And I'm going to choose one of these from the Nellie's Choice stamps, which is Nellie Snellen, and I think I'm going to use that little dotty one there. So there's 4 together. It looks like trees, the one. So I'm just going to take one of them, take that out. So I haven't used this one yet, so a little bit harder to get off its cover. Start off with. And to use that, I'm actually going to use one of the Phil Martin Sentimentally Yours round acrylic blocks, which we have the set of 3s in now. First mark again. I'm just inking up a partial part of it, as I want to get it along the top end here. I'm not worried if it goes over part of the writing. So I'm just, literally it's just a rough sort of little bit of pattern. And you can go all the way around the edge if you want. I'll go all the way around the edge on this one again. There. Let's get a little bit there. There we are. And a little bit up in that corner. I can just about see it in the light. And then that's there ready to stamp. And I'm going to take my piece of paper again. Thanks, Lee. It is nice to support local, especially with everything that's going on in the local lockdown in Caerphilly at the moment as well. Especially with RCT following us now from 6 o'clock last night. All in lockdown, all in local lockdown, so let's support the local smaller businesses and keep us all going. So I've now put powder all the way around there. And I'm going to pop that back in there. And this is going to be the last of my heat embossing. Thanks, Lee. It does look lovely actually. And that's what I'm inspiring for, is to do this piece that's in here. Okay. So I have to heat up all the way around the edge of that now. So I'm going to make sure I don't put my fingers in it. Get my heat gun hot again. Shouldn't be far off. We get this done quickly. So as soon as your powder melts, you just move on to another little area. I hope your new little business venture is going okay as well, Lee, in Greece. I'm just going around and heating that, make sure it's cool before I stick my fingers into it again. Because it is like molten lava when it's melted. I'm really close to the card now, but I'm moving my heat gun so I can get it done just a little bit quicker. We can move on to the next little bit. Last little bit. Done. So I'm going to pop my heat gun out of the way so it can cool down. So you can see that that's all being embossed. It has got a bit of a sheen to it. And you can use colour embossing powder as well. That's not a problem. I've just decided to go with the clear today. Okay. There. Just going to give this mat a wipe. I'm going to then bring in my plate again. And it feels a bit rough because I think it's got a bit of powder on it, so we'll always pick it up because it's awful fine. So if it does, just give it a spritz. And it's just water, it's nothing special, just a little bit of water. And I'm using a microfiber cloth here, and it tends to dry it and lift up all the ink really well. Right, so we've taken our first pull. I'm going to take the inks again. I'm going to redo what I just did. I'm going to ink up the top with the lightest colour, which I will tell you again is Sandstone, and this Harmony Water Reactive. Then I'm going for the Seal Brown, and I think we do the same colours in, I think they're the same colours in the opaque pigments as well. So that's Seal Brown as the medium. Oops. Oh well, I win. There we are. So just to show you, doesn't really matter. I went with a dark in the middle and the medium at the bottom. Doesn't matter. Same sort of thing. So yeah, we'll have a bit of a difference on this one. So you just blend the dark and the light together, and then come down, and then we're just going to blend that medium one into the dark there. Just come up a little bit, and I'm actually going to leave that like that. Okay, the ink will just wash off your brayer, then that'll work. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, if you find it's not quite, ink isn't quite taken, just be a bit quicker. Taking my embossed side, and I'm placing it down onto the jelly, onto the plate, and I'm rubbing that on. Oops. Yep, it's okay. Doesn't matter. If it lifts on this one, doesn't matter. Okay, because that's all it does. It transfers colour onto the back of your card there. And you just take a nice soft cloth and you wipe it across. And what that does, any loose ink that's on the embossing powder will actually spread around the words. Okay, and then on the actual plate itself, if you take another A5 piece of Super Smooth and place that on the top of that. Now this one does matter, we don't want this one to move really. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure it stays exactly where it is. Just going to rub that down. Could go over with the brayer. I've got a cleaner one here. There we are, so that's that. Lift that off and you get sort of the reverse technique. So you get the writing is white on the heat embossed, and then you get the wording that's there. So this one is more darker around the edges. This one is a bit lighter because it's got all the embossing which have resisted all the ink. Okay. So there's your two pulls, and you can imagine what you can make up with all your little stamps and your backgrounds on these. You can really do some nice stuff with it. Okay, so now we've done that, now we've done those two, I can actually, because I've got ink on my brayer, I can actually take that to the glass, to the mat again. So you don't have to waste any of it at all. And I could even put the wording one back on the seal embossed and pick up more colour if I wanted to. So there's not a problem, okay? Not a problem at all. So you can just keep going. If I wanted to add a lighter colour into this, I could. And now I've got another print in there. So if I take another sheet and rub that over the top. So with the amount of ink you got on everything, you can still do all that. And then when I pull that again, I've now got another pull, which is a bit different to that one as well. So you can see it's all completely, so that's 3 pulls from one thing, and they all look a bit different. Okay. I'm sorry if this is focusing in and out, but that's because it's using the Facebook thing. There's an habit of doing that. I've noticed that on our Phil's videos as well. So I've now finished with the media plate. So it's nice and clean. Just wipe and just leave it on the side to dry. And I'm also going to wipe the brayer. So with the brayer, just spritz your cloth with water or run it straight under the tap, and that'll be fine. Okay, so that's nice and clean now, and I can dry that as well. So these are just microfiber cloths. Okay, glad you all like that. You sound really Welshy today. I usually don't like listening to my videos backly because I always sound really Welsh, and I notice it more on videos, but apparently that's how I always sound, apparently. So now that I've cleaned all of the jelly plate, I'm now going to start cutting some of the other sheets. So now I can show you where we're at. So we've done that, and the piece I'm going to use out of my 3 pulls, it's actually going to be the one with the embossing powder, so that's going to go in the middle. And the other colours I'm going to use with this is going to be, I've got a nice light brown, and I've got a nice dark brown as well. I always think everybody else sounds fine on video, but I hate listening to myself. So I'm now going to start cutting some of the other layers, and I'll point out what layers they are as well when we're doing them. So I've got my card base, which is that size. Then I'm going to take the light colour brown, which is going to be in place of the orangey yellow for my card I'm doing today. And I'm going to take my guillotine. Some of you might have different trimmers and stuff like that. That's not a problem. And the colour is going to be cut, so I'm popping it in landscape. So portrait, landscape, and the landscape is going to be 22.5 centimeters, which is 8 7/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to turn it around 90 degrees, and then I'm going to cut it to 20, which is 7 7/8. So that is my lighter colour, which will fit onto there with a nice little border. And again, we're going to corner around it so that it matches the dies I'm going to use later. So I'm just putting it in, popping it down, and it just rounds the corners. So that'll look lovely on that card. Yeah, it is. The guillotine sounds lovely. Do like the guillotine. And then we need a piece of white card, which I'm just going to use the 200 to 250 again. So this is super smooth again. And I'm going to cut that to 21.5 centimeters landscape. And I'm going to turn that around and cut it to 19. And now this will fit into the center of my light brown card in front of that. And again, I'm going to round the corners. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to use it for with a stencil. Okay, so just tap out all the little bits. And you can see that that'll fit lovely inside there. Okay, but I'm going to stencil with that. So with my stencil, I'm going to use one of our flexible craft brushes, and the bristles are so soft, they're lovely. And I'm going to use the same 3 colours that I used with the brayer onto the plate, which is Sandstorm, Friar Brown and Seal Brown. And because I used the light brown at the top, I'm going to flip it. So I had the really light colour at the top here. So on this piece of card, I'm actually going to put the really light colour at the bottom. And we're only going to see around the edges on this. So I'm just going to hold that tight. So let's do that there. Just going to hold that tight. I'm going to put it at an angle as well. Could tape down the stencil, but I'm going to be moving it now. So I'll just hold it nice and tight. And I'm going to get those dots there. And I'm going to go back over this side as well. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to line up a couple of some of the holes there, so I know it's going to sort of flow around a little bit. Just make sure it doesn't flip up or move. And then I've got my lighter dots at the bottom. Then I did the really dark in the middle, so I'm actually going to take that to the top, which means the medium color is going to be in the middle. So I'm going to, because I've used a light color on the brush, instead of changing brushes, because I keep a brush for browns, a brush for oranges, brushes for yellows, I'm actually going to take this one and do the medium color in the middle. Like so. I'll just do that as well, so I don't have to clean the brush in every time in between. So that's my medium. And then I'm going to take my dark colour Hi Bev, hi everyone. If I haven't said hiya, hello. So if you do have any questions, just type them in and Gavin will probably respond to them. But I will try to say hiya to those who are popping on. So now I'm taking the dark one, I'm taking that to the top. Okay, so now I've got the light, medium and the dark. And when you find this is going to be in the center, it's going to look really nice. Okay, so that is now going to be fitted to that, and then it's going to be fitted to the outside of my card there. Okay, and that looks nice there actually. It is a lovely stencil, and it's actually larger circles and they go down to a tiny little circle at the other end. So that is really nice. So perfect for snow as well. It would work well for snow. So my brush here I will wash later, or just run it on a bit of scrap card. And I'm just, the stencil, you just spritz it with water or take it to your sink and clean it under your sink, and the ink will just come off because it's just a dye-based ink, which is a water reactive one. Okay, and then that's that stencil finished with. Just wipe my mat so it's nice and clean for the next parts. Okay. Yeah, so that's dry. So with this, I'm going to take my all-purpose Collall, which is an alcohol-based glue. And it does dry into a skin, so you can peel it off the lid. There we are, and it's flowing. Just a wiggle around the sides, and then I just do a wiggle down the middle. I'm going to fit that onto our light brown colour card. So I'm going to start putting this together as we go in. Okay. And then on the back of this, I'm going to put some foam pads or some foam tape. So this is my foam tape, and I'm just going to take a face strip off. Just taking a face strip. I won't use it a lot. I needs bits around the edge, but not everywhere really. Be a bit more frugal. As long as you're close enough to the edges, it's not going to sort of sag and oop. There. So I'm just cutting in between my fingers. Hi Bev. And a bit in the middle. So that's what I'm doing with that. I'm then going to take all the backing bits off, and all my backing pieces I actually put into a brick, which is a eco brick, which is an empty plastic bottle which we stuff with little bits of plastic because these don't biodegrade enough in general wish. We eco brick them, which I'll be using in the garden eventually. Try and do things for our environment. Just aware that the quicker I move in, the more it's focusing in and out, sorry. Okay, if you're wary about putting something with foam pads down on your card and not getting in the right place, you can actually take some of your wet glue and put it on the back of your foam tape, which will allow you a little bit of manoeuvrability. That's a big word for me on a Thursday, manoeuvrability. And then it gives you a chance to move it around, look, even though it's touching the card. And that is now down on there. So I thought I would change the colours from the original card and make it just a little bit smaller, just to show you that sizes can be changed. So that's that one. So we can put that to the side. And then I'm actually going to use some dies. And this is the Phil Martin double debossed rounded corner rectangles. So that's why I've rounded the corners of the pieces of card that I've been cutting. And with this, I'm actually going to cut this with the largest one, and I'm just going to get it central there and not worry about that way. And then with my dark colour brown, I'm actually going to, so this is number 1 from the outside, and I'm working inwards, so I'm taking the first one and the third one. Okay, and just so you know, out of the waste, so out of the second pull I actually made that card, so I actually used the third one in and the 5th one in to cut my smaller frame there. So this is an 8x8 card, so just so you know, but that is what I made from the second pull. So now we're going to sort out this. Okay, so first of all, place the large die face down, place the second die inside, get it all level, and then take a low tack tape and tape it on both sides. And then I'm going to pass that through my trimmer, my machine. And today I'm just using the Grand Caliber. You'll hear a crack, and that's where it's going through the straight sides of the die. And I'm just going forward and back on this one, just to make sure, because it's cut into 2 dies at a time. And then when I bring it in, it should be cut nicely. And if you do get this, it's because it's straight dies. So the middle bit have come out, and I can actually use that on another card. So that's just a spare bit. If you do get it that it catches and it's not quite cut on one of these straight edges, then just take your scissors and put it in between the sheet and just run your scissors along the edge if it's just that one little bit. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a nice it's got a nice little edge. You can see it's got a double debossed little edge there. Okay, so that is that bit cut. So that's just going to go to the side. And then I'm going to take the large die I just used. No, I won't. I'll show you the easy way of doing it instead of cutting it with a die. So on this I need to put some tape. So some tape like that. So again, scissors. So don't forget, if anybody's got any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Gavin sat in the garden having a nice little listen to the video so that he can answer your responses. So make sure you're working on the back of this piece. And you can see I'm just popping it closer to the edge of the inner side of the frame and making sure that it goes to the corners as well. You can also use 3D glue gel for doing this. It's no problem at all. It's entirely whatever you got to use. one more little bit. I'll sort my frame out in there. Okay. And then again with this, I'm just going to peel off the back ends. So I've actually got an old little container at the back here that I just put all my bits of plastic, so I know they can get eco-bricked. So how is everybody today? Enjoying this lovely weather? Okay, so I've now got the tape on there. I'm going to take my image. I'm just going to centralize top and bottom with the writing, and just make sure that the edge is still underneath my sticky, and then I'm going to lift that up. And now that is on my frame, but I've now got bits sticking out the back. So that's all I'm going to do is take my scissors, and literally I'm pushing the scissors up to the edge of the foam tape. So I'm going up under at an angle and then pushing it up to the edge of the foam tape, and then I can cut that off nicely. So now that is ready to go onto my card. So if I bring the card back in, and this is this one. Now the frame is already lifted. You can see it's there, but I'm going to take my all-purpose Collall now. And place that into the inside of that. So you can see by changing the different colours, it's just completely different. Okay, that's nice, that's all down. So you can see the colours are lovely, working really well with that. So more autumnal. Oh, I'm glad it's nice in the northeast. Oh dearly, that's bad. I think there's a lot of that going around at the moment. So now what I'm going to do is a glitter around the edges of these, like I have on the other card. And what I'm going to do, I'm taking my high-tack very sticky glue. I'm just making sure the glue is in the end. I'm literally, if I put the card down, I'm literally just going along the edge. Just pop the nozzle on the edge of the card and squeeze. A lot of people don't like doing this because it looks a bit messy, but I'll show you a little tip now. Sometimes because it's rough and it comes out the other end, it sort of sticks out beyond the card. But I'll show you how to sort that out. Okay, and I'm just going to get I'll do those two sides and then add my glue to the other side. So I'll just get my small pot of glitter. Yeah, can't fault a lovely little bit of sparkle. So as you can see, this is my little pot of glitter, and we do sell these in little jars. So you don't have to buy a big massive pot like this. I'm just going to take a spoon. I'm just going to place loads of this glitter just on top of the glue where I've been, down to one edge. and I find the weight of this glitter actually means I don't have to push the glue down or push the glitter down onto it. I'm just going to tap it with my spoon, and if it's a bit rough, and I said clean it, so all you do, if it's a bit rough along the edge, you can just run the back of your nail down the edge of the card and it makes it nice and smooth. Alright, but I quite like it a bit rough anyway. And no funny comments there. Getting like Phil now. I'm just tapping that on. So now we've got glitter around two of the little edges. And then I'm going to pop that back on there, pop my card down on there, and continue to do the other two sides. So I go quiet when I'm concentrating. My brain can't cope with two things. I don't mind it being a little bit rough around the edge. If anybody's seen me, I'm a little bit rough around the edge these days. I only shave about once a week, if that. And because your PVA is white, you don't get the full effect of the glitter until it dries. But PVA will always dry clear. Okay. So now the glitter is all the way around the two frame bits. I can pop my glitter away. And there's a little bung that comes with this glue. And you just pop that on there, and I've never seen that dry up in the nozzle ever. Not once. Hello Linda. Hi Leslie. I know I'm naughty. So that is the card at the moment, but now I need to do the odd little decorations. So I may bring my machine in and show you what I'm going to be cutting. So I'll pop that to the side. I got my big beastie of a grand caliber, and I've got full-size plates, but I've also got the half-size plates. So I'm just going to get a half-size grey and a half-size white. Oh yeah, the bung is the best. So I've now got half plates, and I actually had a full plate cut down into half. So that's why I've got the half plates as well. And sometimes it's easier when you're cutting smaller things. So the first piece of card that we actually did with the media plate was actually doing just a plain background. And the reason I did that is because I want to cut some leaves out of this. So as you can see, I've got some colour leaves in here. I've got some of these colour little berry things in different colours, and I've also got them in white. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so I've got this die and this die. So I've got 4 of these and 2 of these. And for those who have bought some John Next Door stuff in the past, you'll know that they were part of that set. There are other leaves in there, but I haven't used these on this card. And I think the other one we've got is actually ones with acorns and other leaves as well. So we've got, I think we've got 2 of them there. But I'm just going to be using these ones today. Okay, and what I want is sort of different colours. So I'm going to put some big one, small one, medium ones. I'm just going to place them in different places so that I've got light and dark. And that's all I do, is make sure that I can tape sort of 3 of them together in one place, so that that's not going to move. If I bring that up to here, then I can tape them 3 together there. Okay, so that's not going to move. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop that through. Now, you can put them through halfways like that, and also you can even put them through that way. So if you're not sure if it's cut, you can either go forward and back, or you can actually change the way you move your plates. So by taking them off there, I've then got some leaves in them colours and some leaves in them colours. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do. Is sometimes if you just drop the dies, they come out, but if they don't, just take a little pokey tool, and there's a little release hole at the top, which means they'll just drop out. And they do deboss a little bit as well with the leaves. And then there's the little berries. So that's them. I'm going to place these on again. Oops, take them up here and get some light ones of these this time. And it doesn't take long if you've got some of the smaller machines. Some of these dies should go through them as well, so you don't have to have an A4 machine. So I've got a few of those leaves there, different sizes, different colours. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 of those. So if I place this one now on the dark one up there, I can get some dark ones in the big one as well. And I'm just going to pass this through back and forth that way. So I have got a Gemini Junior here, but it's a bit noisy, and I just wanted to, because I had the half plates in this machine, I thought I might as well use them. It's just as quick. That's good exercise for my arms. So I've now got a few more of those. Some more berries. Some more leaves, and they're all in different colours now, but they're going to be in similar colours to what I've actually got on the card already. So I'm going to put those dies just to the side there, just in case I decide I need a few more. Well, I do, because what I need as well is I need to take some white ones as well. So that's all I'm going to do, is just stick the 2 lots on there again. And just do some white ones as well. And then we'll have a nice range of white, light browns, dark browns. Hi sis, how are you? There's a silly little thing, yeah. Thank you, Linda. Glad you like the card. So we've now got a few of these little white ones. Let's get that out of there. Another one in that one. I'm just going to stick that one on there. Got another one of them. And another one of the big ones. Let's take the glue off there. That's no problem again. I'm just sort of coming to the end of it, but you at least you'll be able to see the card in a minute. Just going to remove that one and remove that one. So please be careful as well with your dies. If they overlap when they're in your machine, they could actually destroy your dies. I've been very lucky, that's why I just checked the large one and this one, because they did move a little bit. I can show you that on there. So the big one actually came over the top of the little one and actually did dent the metal in there, but it didn't actually cut through it, it didn't destroy it. But you can destroy them, so please be careful, okay? So at least I was honest about that and showed you. Please be careful. That's the first time I've done that. So it just shows even the best of us can do the little mistakes. So we've now got all our leaves and our berries and stuff like that. And I'm going to bring in the old card as well to the side, just so you can see that, and then I'll work on the one I've done today just here. So because the card is slightly smaller, and you can shape your leaves, you know, so if you want to put a bit of shape into them, please do. I like to just squeeze the tops and give them a little bit of shape. I'll just show you. Okay, so I do like to give them a little bit of shape, and they're all quite curvy and raised. But if you don't want the little noddle on it, which is, I actually took them off on all the leaves, then you know your leaves can go in and stuff like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is start building up my little sort of leaf thing. Now I did use the high-tack glue to stick all my leaves and everything on this one, but I'm actually going to use my all-purpose Collall this time. And I think I've got some in a syringe at the moment. Yep. So I actually showed the syringe and how to keep it from stopping to dry. So I actually made sure there was some glue coming out of there before I put the bung on it. And then what that allows me to do is to grab the bung that's in the end, which is sticky, which is still in the palm of my hand. There we are. And now my syringe will actually work straight away. Okay, so just a little bit of 3D glue gel there. I'm just going to place that down in the corner there. I'm actually going to take some of the little berry things as well. In slightly different colours. Some dark ones and light ones, yeah. Place a bit of the glue on the back. Lift up the leaf and put them in. Okay, so that's that. I'm actually going to put a little colour leaf in the middle of that as well. Take off that little bung again. Just going to squeeze the tip of the leaves just to give it a bit more shape. Give it a bit. Just going to put that little leaf there. Okay. And I'm going to do some bigger leaves at the top here. So again, like I say, you can shape them. Don't be afraid to shape them. Put them around the tool. If you've got a shaping mat and shaping tools, you can do that on there. Shape the big one there. So I'm just raising up, sort of doing mountain folds in the center of the leaves, of the three parts of the leaves, and then in between them I'm actually doing like a little valley fold, so it gives it a bit more dimension and shape. I'm going to leave that there a minute because I want to put a little leaf in the front of that little one. Like that. And I've got my shaped one here, which I'm then going to put just to the side there. I might put a little, got all sorts of different leaves here now, so I'm just playing around. Like that. And some more of the, so with the berries I'm actually cutting them down the middle as well, separating them, making 2 berry bits instead of 1. And then where I've got these little colour berries here, I can actually just pop that underneath, and now some white ones coming up there as well. Like that. So that's my bottom layer there, which I quite like. I need to work on this top area here now. So I've got a few different little fronds again. Oop. So I'm just going to put a little bit of 3D glue gel on the back and push that underneath there. That one underneath there. And then the white ones again, I'm going to cut down the middle. Just separate them. So let's just cut across like that. Just separate them away. And then I can put that underneath that one. A little bit under that one, and by using the 3D glue gel I can go lift the leaves again and put them back down again, and you know, it's not going to be a problem then. And then if you want to put a few more leaves around, this is where you can start. Just adding the odd little leaf here, there and everywhere, and just give it a nice little extra look really. So if there's little leaves falling, do one at the bottom here, as if he's falling down there. So that's that, and then I want to add some glitter onto the little berries and stuff like that, as I have with the big one. So again, I'm just going to take my little pot of high tack, just tap in little dots of glue on there. I could use liquid pearls and all sorts of things on these. But if you were going to do liquid pearls, I would do them before, so they got a chance to dry. Because with liquid pearls, you need them to hold their shape. So it's better to do that while they're on, when you're flat on the table. So that's that bit, and I'm going to put this on there. Put a little dot up in the centre, all the little leaves there, just at the bottom of the relief. Okay, so I'll just move this out of the way so I can bring in my small pot of glitter again. Haha. And then take my spoon again, and wherever I put the glue, so what I do when I do one corner like that, I will actually lift the card up and turn it around, because the glitter will go under different areas at different angles, so you need to make sure you get the glitter out, because as soon as you move it or lift it anyway, it's going to just go everywhere else as well. So just do that over your pot. Put glitter on there, put glitter on there, and there's glitter already on that top one. So I'm just turning it around in different angles, just to make sure that's taken all the glitter off. And then I can pop that away. So like I said, when you're doing your 3D glue gel, if you want, before you put it back into your pot, just squeeze out a little thing like that and push it into your nozzle, and then that'll stop it from drying. So let's bring in the two cards now together. Let's clear the area, give that side a little bit of wipe, and then we can show you all the two cards then. So that's that one. And that's that one. And if you do find that you've got a little bit, it's like there's a bit there missing a bit of glitter, just go back in, add a little bit of glue again, add a little bit of glitter, which I will do a bit later. But that, I actually bought I think it was a kilo. I think I bought a kilo bag of it for myself, because I was doing lots of Christmas MDF decorations last year, so I needed a litre, a 1 kilo, that's it. That's okay, Louise. So there we are. So there's the two cards, and obviously out of the second pull, out of this one, I actually made that card, which was an 8x8 card. And out of this one, I will actually make a similar sort of small 8x8 card with the brown colours with that one. So you do get two cards sort of out of doing that. So thank you very much everybody for watching. glad you're all loving them. These samples will actually go into the shop now as samples in there, so you can see them in their flesh if you're local. And thank you again for watching our lives. There are quite a few others on our Facebook page, website and YouTube site, which you can actually go and follow. They're all free to watch. We also do online classes which are all on our website, so you can get access from that, and it does give you a list of what you need to do that card and a slight snippet of the card. So that's that, and obviously thank you for supporting us. And if you haven't yet shared this live, if you can still share it after, then people who haven't seen the live can actually go back and actually look at this card as well, because everybody needs a little bit of inspiration every so often. We all get a little bit of craft block every so often, so that'd be lovely. And like I said, thank you again for watching, and we'll see you again. Bye everyone.